Welcome into Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for stopping by. Ravens Rookie Minicamp this past weekend. And on this edition of the program, we'll go over our winners and losers from Minicamp. We'll tell you some of the highlights and who got impacted accordingly on today's show. Before we go any further, though, I want to make sure we set the tone early with these brand new Ravens players. Like the video to send some good vibes, show some love and support for your Ravens rookies. Let them know that we are standing behind them. You never know. They could be watching, could be a family member or a friend watching, and we want to make sure that our voices are heard loud and clear, that we support them, want to see them do well here in their first season in the Charm City. Let's start with Nate Wiggins, the Ravens' first-round pick at number 30 overall. A lot of excitement about what he's going to bring to this Baltimore Ravens team. He's expected to compete for the starting outside corner role immediately with the Baltimore Ravens, and he caught the eye of Ravens head coach John Harbaugh this weekend as Harbaugh said the following on Wiggins. Nate looked good. As good as he looked technique-wise, there are so many things that he needs to get better at. He's open to that, and that's part of that. I think Wiggins is going to be a superstar, and this is what the Ravens do best, is developing talent, taking them to the next level. And if he's willing to put in the work, then watch out. The sky's the limit for Nate Wiggins. Good to see him start things off early on a good note there with the Baltimore Ravens. He's technically not a rookie, but he might as well be. Andrew Vorhees, who was selected by the Baltimore Ravens in last year's draft, had to sit out the season with an injury. And so it was kind of like a redshirt year of sorts, if you will. Now we head into 2024, and the Ravens have some big changes on the offensive line. And Vorhees, who has recovered from injury, immediately has a chance to compete and potentially earn a starting job on the Ravens offensive line. Here's what Harbaugh had to say about Vorhees making his debut at Ravens Rookie Minicamp. He looks very well trained. He's been here basically working out for a whole year. He was already a strong guy. He's moving his feet well. He's been studying for a whole year. I thought he looked like how you would expect him to look. I'm very excited for Vorhees because here's the bottom line, right? If he did not have the injury, then he would have been selected in the early rounds of last year's draft. Instead, he slipped back as far as he did with his injury. The Ravens took a chance on him, and they found incredible value. Assuming that he's 100% healthy and ready to go, this is going to be a great fit for what the Ravens are exactly looking for when it comes to that offensive line. Good to see him up to full speed and impressing already there with the Baltimore Ravens. More winners to get to in just a moment, but first, who is a winner from Ravens Rookie Minicamp? Whether it's somebody we've talked about on today's show or somebody that we haven't talked about, chime in the comment section and let us know who you believe stood out this past weekend. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose two or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in basketball, maybe it's goals in hockey, home runs in baseball. I'm looking ahead to the NBA playoffs. Got tonight's action. Michael Porter Jr. You know, as a Kansas guy, I got to be picking against the Mizzou Tiger and Michael Porter Jr. I have him getting less than 18.5 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Sloppy Toppin, Obi Toppin of the Indiana Pacers. I got him to get more than 10.5 points and assists. If I put $20 down, both those hit, that's going to turn into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Another minicamp winner. How about Roger Rosengarten, the Ravens' second-round pick out of the University of Washington, and a lot of excitement about what he could potentially bring to the table and also the versatility. And that was a big topic of discussion. Harbaugh had this to say on Rosengarten this weekend. He moves his feet really well. You saw that out here. You see it on tape. Then you see it in person. I hadn't watched him work out. I saw him in person at the national championship game a little bit, but that's different. You you see him in person out here moving his feet. I'm like, okay, he's everything that I thought he would be aesthetically. That's a big part of it. I think Rodgers is going to be starting day one for the Baltimore Ravens. I think that right there is your starting right tackle. And eventually, when the Ravens do move on from Ronnie Stanley, he slides over to the left tackle spot. Remember, he was playing right tackle with Washington because that was Michael Penix Jr.'s blind side. So not only does he have the experience at the right tackle spot, but he'll be a natural fit to move over to left tackle when the Ravens need him to there. Let's go to Tez Walker. Tez Walker, the product out of the University of North Carolina, who the Ravens selected in round number 4. And Tez Walker is a pretty interesting case study, right? Because he showed flashes when he was in college, didn't quite all put it together, if you will. And now he's got a chance to do so with this Baltimore Ravens team, which is kind of the first stable situation he's ever been in. Listen to this from Harbaugh on Tez Walker this weekend. You know he was going to be fast. You knew he would be big and fast. He showed that. I was impressed with how he moved and changed direction. I didn't know if he was going to change direction quite as well as he did the last 2 days. He caught the ball really well. So, yeah, he's off to a great start. I think he's a project, if you will. An exciting one at that for the Baltimore Ravens. I think you're looking at potentially at his best, he could move his way to the number 2 receiver for this Baltimore Ravens team by year's end. That wouldn't surprise me. I think at worst, he's one of your top 4 receivers, and you potentially use him on special teams. But there's a lot of raw stuff that needs to be worked out. But Tez Walker off to a good start this weekend. One more winner to get to here in just a bit. But first, how would you grade the Ravens rookie class? A, B, C, D, or F? Let us know in the comments section what you think of this group, including the UDFAs. I'm talking about a UDFA next. Let me know in the comments section below. We are your one-stop shop for all things Baltimore Ravens here on Ravens Rundown, as we're bringing you daily news and rumors. We also are talking all things OTAs and minicamps, counting you down to training camp and more right here on the channel. The latest happenings in your favorite team. Nobody's covered the Baltimore Ravens like we are here on the channel. Who else is talking rookie minicamp, for crying out loud? Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/RavensTV. Help us reach that next milestone, 16.5K subscribers, just over 100 away from reaching that next mark. Subscribe now and join the family to stay up to date on your Ravens. Last on the list is Joe Evans. Now, some of y'all were on my ass when we talked about Joe Evans as a UDFA. And I know that this was somebody that, was on the defensive side of the ball in the college level. But what he was projected by a lot of the experts, and what we believe around here, is that his future is at the tight end or fullback position more than likely. That's what he is, okay? If he is going to make it in the National Football League, I don't think it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. That's why we project him as a H-back, if you will, at the next level. Right now, he is getting snaps at what he did at rookie minicamp at the outside linebacker position. But we did hear Harbaugh say that Evans could be used at tight end or fullback. So kind of leaving that door open, if you will. And we know how creative Todd Monken can get in this offense. I think that's where Evans' future is. And the Ravens, if he's going to be around, I think that's the most likely outcome. And if you're a UDFA, you got to have great flexibility. You got to be able to potentially do different things, get out of your comfort zone. I want to see Evans make that move to the opposite side of the ball. That's where his future is. If it's on the Baltimore Ravens, they don't need him playing outside linebacker. I can tell you that right now. If he's going to be on this team, he needs to see what he can do as an H-back, as that tight end, fullback role of sorts, if you will. Minicamp losers. We'll roll through these real quick. I'm going Brandon Stevens on this, and it's not like he did anything wrong necessarily, but we mentioned how good Nate Wiggins looked in rookie minicamp. But TJ Tampa also played very well as well. And this is a situation where these two guys are the future. They're going to play two completely different roles. They're not competing with each other necessarily, But it puts Brandon Stevens in an interesting predicament, if you will, because you're not benching Marlon Humphrey. Stevens could potentially be the odd man out, if you will, and these two are rising to the occasion, already stepping up, potentially showing their worth there. So that's why Stevens makes the loser list. Two more losers to get to in just a bit. How about you guys? Name a loser from Ravens Rookie Minicamp. Way in the comments section and let me know what you think. Ben Cleveland, got to be on the loser list, as we've seen time and time again. He's had opportunity after opportunity to prove himself and be a starting interior offensive lineman for the Ravens, right? Last year got beat out, might as well have been on a milk carton, right? He was nowhere to be seen. You couldn't find the guy. He went missing. He couldn't get on the field. And then this year, it seems like everything's laid out for Ben Cleveland to have that chance. And what do you know? Guys like Andrew Vorhees and other are stepping up to the fold here. And there's rumblings about Dalton Reisner potentially coming to town here. I just don't see Ben Cleveland being your starter at one of those guard spots when the season begins for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have options. They have flexibility on the offensive line. They can do better than Ben Cleveland. And then the other is Rashad Bateman. Look, I know Rashad Bateman just got paid, got a new deal and all that. That's great for him. But does anyone actually feel confident in Rashad Bateman to get the job done, if you will? I was listening to Rashad Bateman talk the other day about how it was his fault that he did not have a good year last year, that he didn't work out with Lamar, that he and Lamar weren't on the same page. And, well, I understand that, where he's coming from here. I don't want to hear the excuses. I want to see him just put it all together. And here's the truth of the matter. If Rashad Bateman doesn't put it together, they're setting up for Devontez Walker to come through. And we mentioned, I think he's got a chance, if all goes according to plan, which he's off to a good start at rookie minicamp here, he could pass him up on the depth chart. He could potentially do that. And if you're Rashad Bateman, you can't let that happen already as far as that goes. So, Rashad Bateman, stop yapping, stop talking, go out there, play ball, and make the most of your opportunity, my guy. You just got paid. I don't want to hear about last year. I want, everything be full-on steam ahead going from here. If you enjoyed today's show, want to send some good vibes to your Baltimore Ravens rookies, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it, and we will see you next time here on Ravens Rundown.